All right, guys, I'm back with another video. It's Brandon, sweating out here. It's nice getting some sun out here. You know, same clothes every day like a cartoon character. And it's funny, I was debating on taking this jacket off, but I said, I'm gonna let it rock. So anyway, I wanna get into today's video. I kinda wanna talk about the collective subconsciousness. This is why I need y'all to start commenting so we can start brainstorming. I need some help here. So, and the reason I'm gonna tie it into like movies and stuff. And like events that happen in the world. And this is the thing though. We can all say it, you know, none of it's real until we see it, right? We could say, oh, this is holographic universe, right? But at some point it is happening in a sense. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that we are never shocked. And I think the issue is the spiritual community, conscious community is also being used because we're being used because the more we consume, the more it affects our subconscious. And we are so strong, this could be narcissistic in a way, but the more we consume and we're so strong that if we collectively, the spiritual people, like there's a reason why we're all so spread out, right? There's a reason why there's not another really woke ass person, I even hate that word, or a very super knowledgeable person near me or near you. It's because we are, in a sense, pillars for our area. So our collective subconscious or your subconscious affects the community around you. That's why when you go out, you get noticed or you get stared at so hard because they're like, they don't know why they're looking at you, but their subconscious is like, oh, that's where we're getting the thoughts from. Oh, that's why I'm able to see this. Does that make sense? I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I know that it sounds weird, but it's like you are the source for others, if that makes sense. But basically, you're consuming so much. Like when you go, oh yeah, we're never going to be able to turn this society around, right? We're never going to be able to turn this society around. You having those thoughts, right? You're like, it's hopeless at the end of the day. Well, guess what? That's going to affect everybody in that area. And guess what? They're all going to be hopeless, right? I've been thinking, prime example, and this is another reason I started this video, because I literally like 3 weeks ago, I literally was like, damn, I think the world's like really about to end, like right now. Some shit, like I said that to my girl. And I was like, and then people I know who don't even think like this at all, literally just told me like, yo, I think the world's about to end, like out of nowhere, like random, just I think the world's about to end. And that's when I was like, damn, it's proof, like my subconscious effects. And you could say that, oh dude, no, dude, I know they don't pay attention to the news. They don't do none of that shit. But get this, my energy, you can't diminish, we can't, like I say in all these videos, you can't, what's it called? Blemish your light. That's what I'm going to try to say. But anyway, so our collective subconsciousness affects everything. And then basically, so we have a couple pillars. Like, you know, there's other people that made videos. Like, there's a few real people in this. There's not 7 billion people. There's a few real ones. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, moving to the next point. The collective subconsciousness affects, and then that's why we get these mainstream movies. And that's why we get all this stuff that we see. And that's why we believe it. We're like, yeah, that's what's happening. And then we co-sign it. I think by us co-signing it, like, it makes it only more real to the people around you, right? But anyway, moving forward, like, one thing I really want to talk about is, like, Terminator and, like, Inception, right? So, like, this is where I need your comments for. Are we really in a closed time loop where, because, you know, a lot of the big buzzword lately is, like, the retro causality, right? Where everything that's already happening happened, past, present, future, it's all one. There's no time. It's just one day, right? At that point, there's no days anymore if it's all happening at the same time, right? So main focus is, you know, Terminator, right? John Connor pretty much sends his father back to create him, and then in turn, he ends up starting the war against himself, right? Because it's a war at that point. Because if you notice, like, the one thing that I know people may think it's stupid, like those movies, but the one main thing that we got to take away, take away all the extra shit and just take away the meaning. What's the real meaning? It's the AI versus John. It's not AI versus society. It's AI versus John. And that's the point, is because we're creating our own enemy. And I think even later, doesn't he in Salvation, I could butcher it, but I swear in Salvation, doesn't he help create the half human, half robot, like hybrid, like, and then that's like how it comes, and then like it goes full circle, like he creates his own enemy. Isn't that what we're doing technically right now? This is where I need your help. Like, is that what we're in? Like, are we in this? We're in the coming of age where like we're about to be at that where the we're about to be at the closing of the loop, and we can make a decision either, close it or change it or something like that. I don't know. And I feel like that's maybe what happens with these ancient societies, where there's just vanished without a trace, right? Their loop is done. And that's another thing too. I feel like that's where like we get to like the Bible in a sense, right? Where the Bible starts with do it again. The Bible says again in Genesis originally, right? It says do it again, right? Don't worry about the past, do it again. Maybe we got to fix the loop. Because that's the one narrative that I don't like, is that people go, oh, the reality's so fucked up. And it's like, well, no matter what, you chose to come into this. I think the reality was going to always be this at any time period. Yeah, it looks the way it does, but I think even in the 18, whatever time period you're dropped in, it's going to get to this apex where like it just feels like nothing you can do will work, right? I think that's just where eventually we'll always reach to in any time period. Regardless, like I guarantee you don't think before any fall of any ancient people were like, what the hell do we do? You know what I'm saying? And then moving on to Inception, like that meaning is really like starseed, right? Really about the starseed people, right? You have they have a tether on them, right? And they're like, hey, don't take away everything that you're picturing Inception right now. Take away everything. Basically, people go into the reality machine and try to fix the problem. Well, guess what? That's where but they lose themselves in the process. Duh, what do you think that's about? That's about us. We get tethered into this reality and we forget what our mission is, aka what's happening now. So my question to you guys is, why are we pushing that type of, closed time loops, starseed children, reality? Sorry about that. In the 2020s, like what's going on? I need some. This is where this is where I wish we had dialogue, because I think a lot of people just break down and look at the reality, but it's like look at the spiritual, in-depth meaning to it, right? But anyway, I think that's really it. I just wanted to talk about, closed time loops, collective subconscious, how much powerful we really are, how you affect every person around you. That's why when no bullshit, that's why when you fast, listen, this is, I'm not, last thing. If you are a spiritual pillar and you are, fast for a few days and you'll actually watch you will actually notice everybody's frequencies start to rise. I'm not even joking. I'm not bullshitting. I've experimented with this with so many times. I told you guys I fast all the time, but that's just like one easy way to test it. I mean, even my girl, like, don't get me wrong, she's very, on the pyramid high, but even when I fast, she's just generally more like, oh, well, let me fast with you, or let me do that. You know what I mean? Like very more aware and in tune. And you have a lot of power, guys, and I want you to be aware of it. Start tapping in, all right? So let's have some dialogue, all right?